Hello everybody and welcome to more Heroes of the Storm on Khaldor TV. I got my hands on the games between NaVi and Fnatic at the Dreamhack Valencia Qualifier Final. And we have both of those teams, of course, already qualified for the offline event, but it's still about the seeding. Who gets the better position in the offline tournament itself? Will it be NaVi? Will it be Fnatic? And this series is going to determine exactly that. Dragon Shire is our first map today, and we have NaVi going straight into the Lost Vikings here on the map. A very strong hero for not only maps like Garden of Terror, but also Dragon Shire. NaVi has been showcasing that several times in the past. Fnatic, on the other hand, is relying on a hero that they always try to bring back into the meta, but so far haven't really been able to make that happen. But after the last patch, when we saw follow-through changed, especially in the Korean scene, we've seen a lot of Sonya, and that's something that Fnatic is going to bring to the table today as well, if they can win the game, and therefore the first map in the best-of-3 series is something that we're going to find out right now, without further ado, on Dragon Shire, between Fnatic and NaVi.
Game number 1 at the Dreamhack Valencia Qualifier Final. The best of 3 series between two teams that already qualified for the main tournament. This series will determine who gets the better seed. We have NaVi to the left side, and they are playing Breeze on Johanna, JPL on Zagara, Eternal on Jaina, and Schwimpy on the Lost Vikings here today on Dragon Shire. Pretty cool hero for this map, of course. Splendor is playing Abathur. We have to the right side of the map Fnatic, and they play Sonya again. Lowell playing Sonya here, Ace of Spades Brightwing, Kesel on Sylvanas, Freds on Mirrodin, and Shinobu, the substitute player for... Mena, the substitute player for Shinobu, other way around, is playing Kelthas here. And he really knew how to impress in the recent games that we casted from him. Oh my god, like, he's a French player and apparently is struggling a bit with his English, so that makes it difficult with the communication of the team. But he had some amazing plays. So Mena definitely one of the players that you should watch out for, because this guy definitely knows what he's doing. But well, we're going to talk about that game, and one of the things that we need to talk about, of course, is that we are seeing, in this case, Sonya in the match right now. Well, as it happens, the Wrath Sonya with the red tint already trying to wreak some havoc in the mid lane there, where we have both of the teams moving in with 5. The Vikings, of course, splitting up to the top lane pretty early in the game and going straight for that. So yeah, going to be interesting to see how the Vikings will be able to soak the experience here, if this will guarantee a lead for NaVi that they can use to just snowball the game, or if we're going to see Fnatic with rotations that are just good enough to deal with this hero. We wanted to talk a bit about Sonya. Sonya is making a bit of a comeback in on the Asian realm, because right now, since in the last patch follow-through was changed, we have a bit of a Wrath of the Berserker build that is being used over there. Sonya is being played with Wrath of the Berserker and basically a focus on damage in general. A pretty good bruiser to have at the front line if you're running another tank besides her, and in this case it's Mirrodin. So this is probably the build that we're going to see from their opponents, and there is already Shot of Fury, some of them not even using that talent, but going even into a block. Like, there's a couple of like talents that you can really take with Sonya these days if you're trying playing her. But this is of course one of the things that Fnatic has been doing in the past. They kind of like Sonya. They weren't able to make her work for a long time, but in this game they feel confident to use it again. And we're having NaVi with a very early attempt already to just like dominate the lanes and get the Dragonite. Sonya up at the top is trying to take care of the Vikings, but in this case Lowell can't really do too much just yet. It looks like Breeze in the mid lane is going to aim for the Dragonite, whereas Kesel is of course trying to do his best to prevent that from happening. Again, on level 1 we're seeing Knight takes pawn taken by Breeze, the standard talent these days for most of the Sonya players out there. Ace under a bit of pressure in the bot lane here, and Kesel was trying to help out, but has to move behind the wall too. Mena on his Master Kelthas is starting to do some work, and he is definitely a player that you need to watch out for. Very strong assassin, and we're going to see if he's going to be able to leave his mark on this game as well. Again, it is NaVi with both shrines under their control, and in the mid lane, it looks like Fred's the only one trying to prevent that. Is going to die, or does he still have... No, he does not have his jump up. Good kill here for NaVi, early game kill for them. Unfortunately, of course, Eric was not ready to take that shrine just yet, but oh, counter kill maybe at the bot lane. Splendor! Oh, close one. Ace nearly getting that last arcane precision in to take him down here. We have currently Promote taken on the side of Brightwing, so completely foregoing that protective shield. Dragonite in the mid lane claimed by Na'Vi, and they are really making the Vikings work right now, don't they? Shrimpy is soaking experience up at the top with 2 of his heroes. He was able to get the Dragonite. The rest of the team now rotating down to the bot lane, where they still have a tri-lane going that they can use to take down the Siege Giant camp that Fnatic was able to claim earlier, and then maybe even push some of those towers down. The Dragonite pretty early in the game, of course, still a bit weak. It scales over time, and Shrimpy is currently not being able to do too much up here. Fnatic kind of ignoring it to a certain extent as well. Only Fred's there, and Lowell trying to deal with it. In the mid lane, it's Sylvana soaking the experience, and at this point we're having, of course, Envenom on level 4 taken by the Specialist. Up at the top lane, the Dragonite already eliminated. It's a level lead that we're seeing now for Na'Vi. So it's not only the Dragonite able to take one of the towers down, but at the same time it's also... Oh! Mena gets killed here at the bot lane, not having an escape. Of course, this early in the game is always one of the things that makes it very dangerous to play Khaldor on a lane without support, and in this case, he was apparently cut off from Ace of Spades, who was trying to move between 2 lanes. In the mid lane, Breeze still doing his thing, and Breeze went for Laws of Hope on level 4 and then into Conviction on level 7. So that's speed again on your Condemn, and it's really nice, not only if you want to escape from opponents, but also when you're just trying to chase someone down. And that might actually like sound a little bit weird when I say that, because people will maybe say like, well, but Khaldor, with Condemn, if you use it, even if you're running a bit faster, you pull opponents towards you. So what's the benefit when you're trying to run away? The benefit is simply that you get away from the ranged heroes, and of course you pull the melee heroes in, but that's always one of the things that you can normally live with. If you get away from the ranged assassins, that really helps you a whole lot with the survivability. But it's of course more so a talent that you can use to just initiate, move in, close that gap, use Condemn to pull somebody in, and then the rest of your team can follow up. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Breeze moving in right away, but the gravity lapse from main as Khaldor is pushing them back. So far so good, 2 kills against 0. Lowell not leaving an impression with his build just yet, but there's the focused attack and also follow through, so exactly the build that we've been talking about. It can be compared to what is being shown on Zeratul these days, where we see basically the exact same build, with of course the difference that on level 1 you don't go for Shot of Furies, and Zeratul is normally just using Seasoned Marksman if he goes for the auto attack build. So that's currently what's happening in this game here. Zeratul was banned in this match, as was Illidan, so the melee assassins both taken out. One of the reasons why Sonya suddenly became an option. We have, in regards to talents, nothing too much out of the ordinary for the teams. Looking at the level 1, it's With the Wind over Barbed Shot and Unstable Poison. Still good pressure on the lanes. A lot that Sylvanas can do here to push those back. Again, it is Shrimpy. Oh, Lowell! He can't move in for that. He knows that Breeze is just waiting there. So this is Dragonite number 2. Khaldor's dying at the bot lane, and Na'Vi is on level 10. They have Blessed Shield, they have Divine Shield, we are seeing them with more Water Elemental. This is a really solid position for Na'Vi right now. Great game by them thus far. They had a great tournament that they played here. A couple of the matches, which is absolutely amazing. We've seen Arthurs versus Na'Vi on Tomb of the Spider Queen, which is also on the YouTube channel, and that was an incredible game. An Asmodan style from Arthurs, and Na'Vi winning it in the end, but that was very well done. And right now they are just rocking it against Fnatic. Up at the top lane, we're seeing Shrimpy trying to punt Frets away, gets that, trying to take the wall down, already destroyed the tower and is going for the fort now, and at the bot lane, the kill against Sonya. Solid play by Na'Vi once again. Breeze probably the best tank in all of Europe right now at the front lane, doing his thing. The Ragnar Rock and Roll wasn't even in action just yet. It's of course level 20 talent, but you know what I mean. The longboat has not been used, as the Dragonite of course was captured by Eric himself with his slingshot, and in the mid lane we're still having the experience soak for sure. Here's now the Wrath of the Berserker, as already predicted earlier for Sonya. It is this just damage build that we're seeing on her. But so far Sonya wasn't really able to do too much. But with Wrath or the Berserker finally being in play, that might be the time when a comeback for Fnatic is going to be possible. So far we see Lowell just trying to go for the camps here and trying to capture the Bruiser camp at the right side of the map. When it comes to damage, it's especially Zagara that of course stands out with 11,000, but also Sylvanas starting to do some work. The 2 specialists are basically the ones that are really putting the numbers on the board for their teams. Phoenix on level 10, a no-brainer for Mene, the Khaldor's player. Oh, look at that. Unnoticed from me, my bad, I apologize. We have a steal on the Bruiser camp. Apparently Lowell had to move back as the Vikings were moving in, and therefore Na'Vi now even steals the Bruiser camp away from their opponents. Well, things could not be worse here, I suppose. They are 2 levels behind. That also means that they are at a talent disadvantage. The Vikings are still soaking the lanes, and with that Bruiser camp, they can now heavily push in the top lane, because that fort is even out of ammunition. There's nothing really to do here. This fort is gonna fall, and the bot lane is going to be pushed in as well. Great game by Na'Vi thus far. They're really doing well here with a double spell shield now to just make sure that on 16, a potential 16, they are not gonna end up in a situation where, yeah, Khaldor is just gonna annihilate them with his Ignite and his Flamethrower, which are probably gonna be the 2 talents that we are seeing for the hero in just a few seconds. Well, scratch that few seconds. I mean, right now they are not even level 12, so Fnatic has to... They have a lot of work ahead of them. They need to close that gap in experience, they need to get a pick or 2, and at this point, once that the shrines activate, it looks very much like we're going to see another Dragon Knight for Na'Vi, and that could mean keep, or, well, keep in the mid lane, or fort. Olaf gets kicked in the ass quite hard. The Ragdoll flies away. But in the mid lane, it's Schwimpy again with another Dragonite, and he's already starting to move in here. They took, of course, on level 13 for Jaina in this case. Sprint, no real need to go for Ice Block, since there's nobody that really can jump you. Not even Sonya, who of course didn't go for leap, but in this case went for the Wrath of the Berserker. So far, there was not really a lot of Wrath to be seen. That was, yeah, in Germany you would call that Zwergenaufstand. Nothing else. So that was definitely not impressive just yet, but maybe they're able to turn this around. The problem, of course, is if you run up against the Vikings and you fall this far behind, it's very difficult to close the experience gap, especially if you also need to make sure that you defend your keeps, if you need to make sure that you get a kill every now and then. Ace of Spades was trying to take at least a few experience points at the lane before he moved in, so they were going for that split push EXP. There's the punt against Lowell. Schwimpy is there. Maybe now Jaina is being attacked, is trying to move back. Divine Shield being used to save her. Really well done by Uther there. Splendor with good moves. The Maw sectioning off a few of the heroes, and now with 2 already trapped, they get the kill against Sonya and against Sylvanas with another potential 1, and there it is against Muradin. It is 8 kills versus a quarter kill that we are seeing for Fnatic. A great game here again by Na'Vi. I mean, they are dominating right now. After the patch hit, I don't really want to say they were struggling, they weren't really, but they were for a few weeks, maybe 2 or 3, not as dominant as they were before. They were basically the team that, with Team Liquid together, were dominating the European server, and after the recent patch, there was a bit of an adjustment time that they needed to find their stride again. It was also, of course, when JPL just, like, joined the team, and when we had Celium leaving it, so in this case there was another period that they just needed to make sure that that change just basically didn't go unnoticed, which is absolutely normal. But they really are back to business right now with a very solid performance in all of the matches so far, and this is a 4-level difference. The thing is, if you run Lost Vikings, then normally if you get ahead early in the game, then later on this is just going to snowball if your Vikings player is keeping it up. And just looking at the experience that we're seeing here taken, we have 15,000 taken by the Lost Vikings. Johanna with the solo lane that we saw a bit earlier is at 10, but still, this is quite the impressive play that we are seeing once again from Na'Vi, and they really love to use the Vikings there. It's going to be super interesting to see how the Vikings are going to be played in the next patch, if that's still going to be a thing or a hero that we are going to see. The gameplay will have to change completely for that. Up at the top lane, we're having also with the Bruiser camp and a bit pressure on the lane against Fnatic, and Fnatic is defending with Lowell and Kaysil. The problem about that is that the rotation at the bot lane is starting to put some pressure on this one as well, and for Fnatic it's just this question like, where do we go? What do we do? Because already Schwimpy is splitting his Vikings again to capture the top and the bot shrine and go for the Dragonite, and as long as there's like lane after lane being pushed in against Fnatic, they have to rotate over there, try to defend them, and that puts them in a pretty awkward spot when they're also trying to be out there to contest the shrines, and they just simply can't do that. We have in the mid lane Balog already going for it, and that's going to be another Dragonite, and Fnatic is not even trying to move in the mid lane because they can't. They just sit there. And they have to defend, they have to make sure that they are not losing the game until they hit level 16 and hope for a bit of a miracle. Mena just somehow annihilating the opponent's team with his Flame Strike, but at this point they lost the first keep. The second one is probably gonna fall now as Schwimpy just moves in, kicks Muradin away, the tank out of the fray, and we're having in this case now Holy Renewal for additional heal on Johanna, making her even more tanky after Spell, Shield and Laws of Hope on level 13 and level 4. And this is just a disaster for Fnatic here. That first game in the best of 3 series is not going well for them. They really have to step it up, I feel, in the next game to make a comeback there, because right now NaVi is looking dominant. NaVi moving in. Can they finish this off right now? They have a 4-level lead. They're leading in talents heavily. And Fnatic, they're just struggling. They're trying to go for 16. Finally, they would put Ignite into their hands and maybe the chance to make a comeback. But of course, level 20 is going to hit very soon for NaVi as well. And once that's the case, NaVi is going to be even stronger. We could see the invincible talent on Johanna, which makes it just so hard to kill. Not saying that right now she's an easy target. I mean, like, yeah, taking Johanna down, you probably played a game or two against her as well and know exactly how difficult that can be. We have, in case of Jaina, by the way, Numbing Blast taken, Deep Chill and Frostbitten the talents on 1 and 7. And yeah, very, very solid performance so far. There's the 16 finally. And we are, of course, seeing the Slam talents, Aftershock and Furious Blow for Sonya in this case. We're having Critterize taken. There's the Cold Embrace. It's all about the burst right now. Trying to burst 1 or 2 targets down in the fights, trying to be effective with that, and then use that Flamethrower, use that Flame Strike, go straight for Ignite and take him down. But a 4-level lead, level 20, I mean, this is... Oh, it's like they need a miracle. They definitely need a miracle here, and they know it as well. But they're not giving up yet. We are having the Ragnarok and Roll taken for the Vikings. There's a Storm Shield, a double Bolt of the Storm, and Uther could go for another Storm Shield here, of course. Right now we're seeing, well, what are we going to see NaVi do? They're probably going to wait for another Dragon Knight. I mean, why would they not? They can force Fnatic to move out, and that's probably what they're going to try and do here. Here comes already another Stormbolt. Frets has to be careful in terms of damage. We have Kel'Thas right now still already at 24,000, even though he didn't use a single Flame Strike with Ignite just yet. So solid performance by Mena. It's just more the question of how the Vikings and their talent lead really put them in an awkward spot and made it happen for NaVi by them just taking one objective after another. They had 3 Dragon Knights already, and now all of those 2 teams are starting to move in once again. It is especially, of course, NaVi that is trying to make their place here, and they are splitting the Vikings again now that the shrines have been announced. They will activate in another 18 seconds, and the Vikings are already on the way. The rest of the team is just trying to zone Fnatic, zone them as much as they can. Vikings taking positions down at the bot. It is Olaf up to the top lane. We're having Shrimpy and Balog Shrimpy on Eric. And Balog is in the mid lane. So Dragon Knight, they're gonna get another one. 15 minutes in, they should be able to right-click the core with that. If they have the full support of the rest of the team, that should definitely be an option. And I guess that is exactly what they're going to try and do here. Splendor, Breeze, Eternal, JPL, the entire team is rotating over. The Vikings from the bottom top shrine are also moving into the mid lane now. Catapults are pushing in too. And yes, this is looking pretty grim for Fnatic. Fnatic trying to use Flame Strikes here. Mena not hitting this one. Phoenix already being used, and we see immediately Muradin trying to jump into the backline of the opponents to maybe take Jaina down, but that didn't work. And the core is already losing hit points. One after another. The Dragon Knight is gone. That allows them to go into the Ragnarok and Roll if they want to. Where's that Longbow? Not used just yet. Here comes the Silence, not hitting too much though. And here's the Ragnarok and Roll. Mena is about to die. The Water Element chasing him down, and now it's going to go straight for the rest of the team. Bam! Brightwing might die here as well. Yes, he does, but Sylvanas is already dead. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is of course game number 1. NaVi with a dominant performance here in the first game in Dragon Shire at the Dreamhack Valencia Qualifier against Fnatic.
NaVi with an absolute dominant performance on the first map, Dragon Shire. Really well played by them there, and Fnatic didn't stand a chance. They got crushed, completely dominated by NaVi, and they can't be really too happy with that. The next map is going to determine if NaVi takes it with a 2-0 here, or Fnatic is at least able to push this series into a third map. And the map that they chose for this is Blackheart's Bay, a map where they are traditionally very strong, and they have an interesting lineup here as well. They were able to get Zeratul through the draft, and we have now Zeratul and also Tyrael in their hands. And this is actually a setup that they used in the past against other opponents in that qualifier to get ahead, especially once that Freds on his Tyrael can initiate with Judgment, and Loa can just section off a few heroes of the opponent's team with a Void Prison. That's usually when they get a lot of their strength from. Johanna, again, the hero at the front line for NaVi, so they're gonna try and run Johanna to disrupt that entire process. If they can make it happen, and take the second game, or if Fnatic is able to come back and force a third game out of this series, is something that we're going to find out right now on Black Hats Bay.
Black Hats Bay, the second map between NaVi and Fnatic. And well, let's be honest, Fnatic basically, well, they kind of received a bit of an ass kicking on map number 1. Dragon Shire did not work in their favor, not at all. NaVi dominated them over there, and this is, of course, going to be the attempt of revenge for Fnatic. Fnatic with Ace of Spades and Brightwing, Kesel on Sylvanas, Mene on Vala. He's playing pretty mean Vala, so I've heard. Lowell on Zeratul and Freds on Tyrael. To the right side of the map, it's NaVi with, again, Breeze on Johanna, Shrimpy this time on Tacita, which is also quite interesting, since we could see here... Well, we could have actually seen them pick that hero just so that they deny the double promote. Splendor Malfurion, Jaina, played by Eternal, and JPL on Kel'Thas. All of them just moving straight for that watchtower in the mid lane. What is this? Quick match? Everybody running in there, everybody abandoning the bot lane. Reports after the game will be made. And yeah, jokes aside, like already the rotation down to the bot lane, Kel'Thas is going to take care of that, and I guess Fnatic is going to move one of their heroes down in just a few seconds as well. We're already having the team is moving straight in at this particular lane, bursting the wave away. The same happens up at the top, 50 in-game seconds in. Of course, we're going to see the first few chests spawning, and it looks like Fnatic is just eager to get the bot chest. They're rotating through the lanes, trying to catch all of the experience, and they're able to do that. We have them at the bot lane right now with 3 heroes that can easily get the 5 points over here. 2 heroes are back up at the top, 1 in the mid and 1 at the top, so that they can make sure that they don't miss out on any experience in this case. Breeze, of course, on his Joanna went for Knight takes Pawn level 1 once again. We're having the Overload talent taken for the extra range on the Psionic Storm for Tacita. We see that actually a bit more often these days over a potential Conjurer's Pursuit, which on this map in particular would have been actually really, really good, just because there's so many extra globes that you can take, and that is going to be, yeah, I mean, that's going to be interesting. I mean, like, what Shrimpy can do with this, you have more range on your Storm, so you can stay farther in the back. You are not exposing yourself to any kind of danger. That would also, if you want, allow you to go into different talents later on level 13 and 16 and not go for Prescience and Dimensional Warp. Especially since we're currently seeing a Zeratul in the game, one of the things that you can do is just give up on Prescience and go straight into the Shrink Ray to make sure that once the melee assassin shows himself and jumps in, you can just like shrink him, put his damage in half, also the movement speed, and you're still kind of safe because you can all do that from a safe distance. Lowell is waiting over here for the 2-minute mark so that he can steal the camp away, and that's exactly what's happening right now. Up here to the top, we're having Breeze standing there trying to steal Fnatic's coins, and that's exactly what he does. You might have noticed that Lowell on his Zeratul waited for another second before he started to attack. He didn't immediately do it on 2 minutes in, and the reason is because he was just waiting where the rest of NaVi is to make sure that he's not suddenly running into a bit of a trap there. Level 4 talents are in the game, and we're seeing again Promote taken on Brightwing, so it's exactly the talent that we saw in the last game, giving up Protective Shield for that. We have for Vala the Q build once again taken, so Mene is using the arrow build in this case. The last time that I actually saw him play Vala, he went for a very interesting hybrid build, where on level 7 he went into Searing attacks regardless, and then on level 13 went for Giant Killer. So a bit of a mix between a right-click build and also an arrow build. On 13 you could go into a Spell Shield if you really feel you have to, and to be honest with you, looking at the lineup that Fnatic is up against, I really think with so many heroes on the side of NaVi that can put spell damage in, you would be well advised to go straight into a Spell Shield. Oh, good kill against Kel'Thas here. Look at Lowell. Going straight in, moving in from the back, taking him down, blinking out, and still 9 coins in his possession. Nobody actually turned in anything thus far, and we have Lowell now trying to go for another kill, but this time he doesn't get it against Shrimpy. Oh, Shrimpy! He goes really far out. I mean, Kesel would have probably even been able to take him down with a single Shadow Dagger, which didn't really happen there in the end, but still, like, very, very risky plays. But still, he has that extra range on the Psionic Storm, so apparently he felt safe enough. Johanna needs to be careful. 7 coins. You can't really die in a situation like that. Mena not even sacrificing mana, going for that particular chest, not using an arrow here. And that's actually really smart. If you go for the Q build, the one thing that's always a bit annoying about it is that it drains your mana like crazy. So you really need to make sure that against minions, against objectives, you don't use it too much, that you rely more heavily on your auto attack. This time, by the way, we are not seeing Mena go into that hybrid build that I was mentioning earlier. And I think the reason is really that he already realizes that he has to go for Spell Shield on level 13. Or that he should definitely do that. So we're seeing him with a normal Q build going into the repeating arrow here after puncturing arrow and stiffening arrow on the previous talents. Fnatic, with all the pressure that they executed on the bot lane and them taking down structures, they have a level lead. So this time they banned out the Vikings and they are currently making really some nice plays there. They have already that first kill against Malfurion actually happening, and up over here Ace of Spades and Lowell making that work, taking Malfurion down, stealing the camp away. So they basically do to Navi what Navi was able to do in the last game when we had the Vikings steal the Bruiser camp after Sonya was trying to go for it. So really nice moves. Everything is going in Fnatic's favor right now. Very, very strong for them. Level 7 talent also gives us Mule on Malfurion. We have static charge taken. So interesting that they prefer damage over additional heal. Normally on Malfurion, if you don't go for Mule, you see enduring growth taken. But apparently they feel that they're better off with getting some more damage in. Oh, and talking about damage, the kill against Vala, caught out of position. JPL, on the other hand, is being dropped by Freds. Tyrael with the Master Skin, rocking that beauty, moves in, and this time Lowell also making sure that they get another kill against Jaina. Really aggressive play by Fnatic here, always out on the map with Zeratul, the melee assassins definitely putting their mark onto this game. And are they going for an early boss? Moving just past Johanna. Look at Freds, he didn't give a shit. He just saw Johanna there and he was just like, yeah, well, who cares? Moves, he must, please tell me that he really saw her and was just like being a boss and said like, yeah, I don't really care about you. Wow. The kill against Breeze, and oh my god, like all the coins, the esports dollars. Oh, Breeze, that was apparently a bit unexpected by him. I don't think that he thought they would go for boss in there. I think he was just like trying to hide over there. That didn't really work out. No matter what he was trying to do, it definitely backfired and they lost a ton of coins. Now suddenly it's 10 more coins that we're seeing in the possession of Fnatic. And they also, I mean, they turned in twice. They already turned in twice, right? So this is going to be their third turn in if they complete it. We have over here the boss starting to go ham now, of course. I mean, what else? The boss is going to go straight for it. Level 11 versus level 9, and this is just really bad news. I mean, we have Judgment in the game, we have Strafe, there's Void Prison, Blink Heal, Wailing Arrow, all these things that you just can combine. Navi is 2 levels behind, but they are currently on the same talent level at least. So they have level 10, which gives a Blessed Shield, Archon. They have, in this case, Tranquility, Water Elemental, and Phoenix. Maybe they can make something happen with that. The first thing that they want to make happen is deny that turn into Lowell. If they get their coins back, that would be great, because just caking the coins doesn't really help you too much. You also need to make sure that you turn them in, and a lot of teams fail at exactly that. So maybe Navi can claim those back. The problem is, of course, that Fnatic wasn't lazy and made sure that the bot lane, that they get another set of coins and also put some more pressure on that lane, which is already heavily pushed in thanks to the attacks that we saw earlier from the tri-lane. Schwimpy, yeah, pretty much isolated from the rest of the team, and they really want him. Good Void Prism from Lowell as well, making sure that those couldn't help at all. And here comes the, oh my god, the silence at the right time from Sylvanas. They get a triple kill, they get the chest. This is like a nightmare for Navi. All of a sudden we're seeing coins or chests appearing on the map at the worst time possible for Navi. They are losing everything here. Like, this is basically the opposite from what we've seen in the last game. We saw Fnatic getting slaughtered on Dragon Shire, but right now on Blackheart's Bay, granted, one of the best maps of Fnatic, it's one of the maps that they really like the most. They are doing exceptionally well. They get the third turn in. They have now another 16 coins that they could use to just complete another one quite easily. They're actually up at 18 right now. And Navi is just struggling. They're down 1 talent. They're up against the... Look at that. Giant Killer again taken. Oh my god. Like, Mena with the balls of steel. if I did expect, like, I did not expect him to go for Giant Killer here. If he would have taken Searing Attack on level 7 and went for the same hybrid build that he used the last time that I saw him play on Vala, then maybe. But going for Giant Killer when your opponent has a Tazada, a Jaina, and also a Kel'Thas, I am not quite sure if that is ballsy or just, like, batshit crazy. Like, one of the two. And it's interesting enough since, well, Mena is French, so you would have expected him to go for everything that allows you to just run away a little bit faster. Or survive that. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't. Like, I couldn't pass up on that pun. French pun every now and then, I have to go for that. I'm really sorry. I'm German after all, so I have a reputation. And I need to keep that. So, Mena, of course, in this case, I mean, let's look a little bit at the numbers. Let's look at the numbers and see what Mena actually put on the board so far. Mena is currently at only 6,000 hero damage. I expect him to be a bit higher, but then again, we're only 9 minutes in. And there's 8 kills against 1 on the board, and Mena was actually, involved in a lot of those. Oh, and what? Kuvadis, Kel'Thas. Well, where exactly did he want to go? That was interesting. Yeah, he did definitely get caught off the guard there. I guess he saw the rotation already happening and at the same time was just like thinking, oh damn, I'm dead, aren't I? And yes, indeed, buddy, you are. What does NaVi have to do? NaVi is currently, again, down a talent. It's like a 3-level lead for their opponent, 16 versus 13. We're having spell shields being used on Johanna. There is that shrink ray that I've been talking about earlier, so in this case it really works for them. I didn't really touch on the mental acuity just yet, but of course this is a pretty great talent if you're up against Zeratul that is giving you a lot of trouble, just so that you have more vision on the map. The problem for them is that really all that additional vision from Oracle and Tazada in general didn't really help them at all, did it now? So that's it's actually like a bit sad and did not work out for them. A double ice block, and I really like that, especially when you're up against Ethereal. You want to have ice block since he can always jump in with a judgment, and you want to negate that at least. That's one of the things that they're going to try and do. We're currently seeing also the opponent with the 16 talents that we haven't really talked about too much yet. With a Cold Embrace, Criterize, a double Blood for Blood. There's a lot of aggression out of Fnatic in general and throughout the entire game. And these talents just underline that once again. So I emphasize that. The one thing that we need to see from NaVi if they want to come back here is first of all them soaking for 16, which is going to be extremely difficult. And then try to really make sure that they make Ignite and Blizzard work together with maybe a good Root or Malfurion. It's going to be difficult to go for a proper setup here, but I suppose with Conviction taken on Johanna on level 7 and that extra speed, you could try and use Johanna for the engage and then just like drop all of that AoE that you have, including the roots, to just get all of the damage in against Fnatic. And if they hit 2 or 3 heroes with Conviction and with Condemn, they might be able to get early kills in a fight and then snowball it from there. But it's definitely not going to be easy. The first keep is already gone, and up here it's again an isolated kill against Kel'Thas. Wow. Frets just every single time when he sees a target. He is just so fast on the trigger finger, taking them down with judgment, and the team follows it up in beautiful fashion. So yeah, this is the coordination that we've seen from Fnatic in several games in this qualifier here at the Dreamhack Valencia Qualifier already, and they are showing it in this game again. They weren't able to do it in the first game, but here they are having a great time. Lol is moving in once more, jumps in, does the damage. No Void Prison for him just yet. It's not in cooldown. He could use it if need be. Here comes the silence against the backline. Breeze, they're trying to isolate him. He has 8 coins and gets away. Alright, so Breeze gets away for now. And, well, let's see how exactly... Well, Fnatic is using the lead that they have to just, like, take the camp. So at least they're trying to. But here comes Breeze, and Johanna is starting to push them back. Fnatic apparently a bit reluctant to fight here. I'm a bit surprised to see that. And here comes the Flame Strike. 10 coins on Breeze. They cannot die here. If they die now, then it would all be very much over. I mean, we have 14 coins on Fnatic already. If they get the 14 that we are seeing on NaVi, then that would be pretty much lights out. That would be another turn in easily, and probably even more than that. Still coins up at the top, by the way. There's one that was left at the turn-in spot. Currently looking at the damage numbers as well. We're seeing especially Vala starting to climb a bit, being at 10 right now, jumping in again. They're going for Breeze once more. Here comes the jump against Jaina. Jaina being shielded immediately. And here is the Phoenix and a good strafe in the backline. Menace getting the damage numbers in. That Void Prism didn't help too much with the damage, but well, at least right now they were making sure that Mena wasn't isolated from the rest of the team. But as I say that, here comes Breeze with his Blessed Shield, the ultimate, knocking Vala down, getting the Condemn in as well. Very well played here. The kill against towards Fnatic. Is that maybe the start of a turnaround? They're trying to go for another kill. They don't get it. They can't chase down another target, but they are still able to turn in their coins in the mid now. And with that alone, they're able to get another turn in. And that's the first turn in that they get in this game. Up at the top lane, the pressure against the wall destroyed it completely. We have the pressure against the keep already, and let's see what Fnatic is going to lose here. Looks very much like they are maybe losing that fort, and that would be about it. So far there were not really a lot of structures that NaVi was able to take down. Level 17, nearly 18 versus 16. That's really the time when NaVi can try and make a couple of plays. Holy Renewal has been taken again, and they go for boss. They go for boss. They see the heroes at the bot lane. They know that 3 of the heroes for Fnatic are not ready to fight, and they move in using the Phoenix as well, trying to get the extra damage in. Ace has the vision. Shrimpy is moving in now too, but this is just going to be too late, and Fnatic knows it. They're not even trying to contest. They know that they will be there too late, and instead they just move into the mid lane, turn in once again, and this is going to be another Ghost Ship Barrage that will definitely drop the fort or the keep up at the top lane. This boss, on the other hand, could get a bit nasty. Is going to go through that wall like a hot knife through butter, and then will probably also drop the fort here. Not that it's going to be too big of a problem for Fnatic. Actually, like, NaVi is trying to push with this, but they have to be back now, which you can see here, since Fnatic is starting to put some pressure at the bot lane. And every structure they take down is a very big deal right now, since all of those ghost ship shots are starting to really damage the last creep in just a bit. At the top you can see that this one is already a goner, and a mule on Malfurion doesn't even help you with that. That mule was basically useless, since Fnatic followed up every single attack that they had with an immediate move to make sure that the structure would go down and could not healed or repaired by the mule. Here's the mule coming in play, but that's the only keep that they still have. These two are the only structures besides the quarter that are still in the game for them. So another turn-in would not only drop the keep, but also start to apply the first few damage points to the core itself. And Fnatic is now aiming for level 9, for level 20. They want to have the last talent. The 16 talent, where we have Ignite, where we have Hardened Focus, there's a second Strike, Holy Renewal, and also the Numbing Blast. This is really where NaVi wants to make some plays right now. They would love to move out and just say like, okay guys, listen up, we need to fight now, we need to go into one of those team fights and we need to win it. If we don't, then we are screwed. If we win that though, and we claim the 10 coins that they still possess, we might be able, with a few turn-ins and also the pressure on one of those lanes, to just get back in experience, close that gap, get to 20, and make it happen. And there is the 20 in just a few seconds, but they're trying to go for the fight, and they're going immediately for Tyrael. Tyrael jumping out there, Fred's just barely alive, but Brightwing is down. Brightwing down, Kasil moving back, Fred speeding himself up. Oh my god, he just barely escapes. I can't believe that none of these spells hit, but he's still alive. It's a 5 versus 4, though the level 20 talent is not on the board just yet. And Navi's going for it. Navi is trying it right now. They're taking down the structures. This is maybe their chance to make something happen there. They know that every single structure that they take down is working in their favor. 30 seconds on Brightwing, and without a healer, it just doesn't look like Fnatic can fight here. Fnatic doesn't even want to fight. There's the 20. Maybe now they can make something happen. Tyrael still has his ult, and there it is! Goes straight in, but the ice block being used at the perfect time. Another one on Malfurion. Nice, well played by NaVi. They're moving back already, but they are also now on the back foot. And with that, oh, the silence again. Maybe a bit too hasty, but we have again Tyrael jumping in. Good Phoenix. The Void Prism in the back line does not really do anything for them just now, but oh, as I say, Zeratul jumps in, gets the kill, and here comes maybe another one against Tazana. Yes, they get one more, and now there's a 5 versus 3 situation as Brightwing is back to business, jumps in for the heals. It looks like Zeratul should be able to take another target down. Splendor is dropping, and so is Khaldor. Goodbye Breeze, completing the team wipe, and Fnatic with this move can just simply go for core right now. We already have the top lane pushing in with 2 catapults moving in, another one in the mid lane, and with chests spawning, Fnatic could take the chests, go for a turn in. They can do whatever they want. They can make a happy dance here, and it doesn't really matter anymore. The 20 talents granting them the victory in that last fight. NaVi moving back a bit too late. They were just hoping for another comeback with this fight, but it didn't matter. Game number 3 will come up. This is the tie in the series. We will see a third map between NaVi and Fnatic here at the Dreamhack Valencia Qualifier Final.
What a series there. First we have NaVi dominating against Fnatic on Dragon Shire. Then on the second map we are suddenly completely seeing the opposite here. Fnatic playing a great game, just playing so much better around the objectives and also in the important fights, taking the second win and forcing the third map out of their opponents. So pretty cool setup that we actually have here. The game goes, or the series goes, into a final map and it is Cursed Hollow. And guys, this is going to be quite a lot of fun that we're seeing right now. I'm super excited for this game now in particular, and I can't wait. We have once again the melee assassins in play. We are seeing Zeratul, and this time Zeratul is being played against Fnatic. So if that is going to bring the victory to NaVi, if they are going to be able to take it or not, is something that we're going to find out right now. We have on the side of their opponents also a very strong lineup once again. Actually, Johanna is being played this time by their opponents, by Fnatic. And in this case, it's actually Johanna and Abathur. Abathur is going to try and really put the pressure on, and of course Johanna herself is already very, very strong, extremely tanky, and with the Tacita and an Abathur in the lineup, it's going to be super difficult for Team NaVi to take it down here. The last game, everything's on the line here. Who's gonna take this best of 3 series? We're gonna find out on Cursed Hollow.
The last and final game at the Dreamhack Valencia Qualifier Final. The blue team to the left side of the map, we have Nubarak, played by Breeze as the tank this time. We're having Splendor on Uther and Schwimpy on Brightwing, so double healer composition for NaVi, with Eternal on Zeratul, JPL on Kel'Thas in this game. To the right side of the map, it's the red team. The colors, unfortunately, in the tap screen from Blizzard still switched, but of course, you know that by now, I suppose. To the right side, Fnatic with Lowell on Tacita, Kesil on Abathur, Ace of Spades on Malfurion, and Mena in this game on Jaina, whereas Freds is starting to play Johanna. So a very interesting setup, since we are now currently in a position where Johanna is going to be just even more annoying than before. If she gets a bit of Abathur support in those fights, everybody that you just pull in with a Condemn gets damage from those spike bursts, and it is very annoying. We're most likely going to see a bit of a support build there from Abathur. Oftentimes you see him played with melee assassins, but Abathur Johanna is definitely a very annoying thing. I had the pleasure to play against that in Hero League already a couple of times, and I can tell you it's definitely no joke. So currently we have at the top lane a Nubarak, the Love Beetle. Look at that. Think pink. But yeah, the color coordination is a little bit off for Breeze here, so we have to talk about that, I think. But yeah, it's going for the Beetle build. We're having Zeratul with a cooldown reduction on his Blink. We see double Conjurer's Pursuit actually on the side of Fnatic, who are going for the talent on Tacita and also on Malfurion. One Conjurer's Pursuit on Uther on the side of NaVi. And a bribe taken by Bribewing, whereas, Bribewing by the way in the mid laner just now, whereas of course for Johanna it is again Knight takes pawn on level 1, the standard talent these days. So pretty much the builds on level 1 you would expect. The one thing that is also very interesting for the Fnatic setup in my opinion is that we're having Lowell on Tacita here, not only because Lowell is usually that guy who tries to put out the damage with his melee assassins, but also because Tacita is not a hero that you see that often these days. Normally it's a hero that you see in combination with Brightwing, or to pick him away from Brightwing just so that your opponent cannot go for double promote. In this case though, this is going to make the lineup that we're seeing for Fnatic extremely chunky. It's going to be very nice. So, and we have at the bot lane currently just like the healers being set up. That's one of the cool things, of course, that you can do when you're having 2 healers in the team. You can set them up with the rest on 2 of the lanes. You can just make sure that you have a very good lane sustain there. Very similar to what you oftentimes see players do that just switch over from other MOBAs like League of Legends, trying to go for an assassin and a healer on the same lane and just hug that for a long, long time until they realize that objectives might be important after all. Be that as it may though, we're having Zeratul of course looking for an opportunity to get some damage in. Kesil up at the top with his Pajama Thor needs to be careful because Eternal is definitely going to try and sniff him out later. There's already Adrenal Overload after level 1v of course, so Pressurized Glance, full Beetle build on Breezes and Nubarak. The Love Bug is still there, the Beetle, and well, we're having him playing a very, very passive game. They're just saying, okay, let's just sit and relax and then move in when I get an opportunity to kill something. And that's exactly what he does. But he didn't see Mena in position, and Mena gets the early kill. Well done by Jaina. Lowell with the attempt to just move in here too. They're really trying to get Zeratul as well. And Mena with a slow, but Eternal has that cooldown reduction of Blink, and he is putting it to some good use, making sure that he gets that done in, and it just moves away. But now we also have Abathur moving straight into the mid lane, soaking some experience there, starting to push that in. We of course see Promote on Tassadar, and Tassadar is already going to start and use that. There it is, in the mid lane together with the Locust. That's a lot of pushing power that you have. And that also means that the longer this tribute fight here at the bot lane goes, the more the lane is being pushed in the mid, which is going to be a great position for Fnatic. But we have both teams now on level 4, and it's actually a double protective shield that we're seeing for the supports on the side of Navi. So they are going to be in a position where they will be very sustainable in these fights as well. Once again, moving in with an Ubarak, going for the burrow charge. JPL is trying to catch that tribute in the back, main and maybe with an option. No, they get the kill against the Ubarak. Again, the love bot is down, but the tribute has been taken. One of the problems, of course, as mentioned, is that this entire wall is already out of ammunition, thanks to Promote and also the Beatles moving in. There's a lot of damage that Fnatic was able to do, and they are really using it as well. We also have a bit of a different build in the case of Johanna than we had when Breeze was playing it for Navi. Roar taken on level 4, and that's of course also because in this case, Johanna is being supported by not only Abathur, but also Tassadar. So you're extremely tanky. Very, very difficult to kill. And you can go for additional damage, which is exactly what they do. With Punish, getting an increase by 50% thanks to Roar and Conviction now on level 7, of course. So, for Malfurion, oh, look at that, a Loon's Grace, a range increase. Alright, not going for the extra heal, apparently doesn't really think that he needs it. Interesting talent choice there. As expected, it's static charge on the side of Zeratul, was basically what we were talking about earlier. Abathur not going for the needle spines here on level 7, but he's going for Mule, and here comes the fight for the next tribute. By now also Navi with a level 7 talent in their possession, which leaves Zeratul with follow through and also focused attack. Both of the talents now ready. Gust of healing and cleanse, and it looks like Navi is starting to gain a bit of momentum here. They have lost 2 heroes over the course of the game so far. Here comes Freds again interrupting that, and once more in the mid lane we see Lowell move in, trying to just push that in as much as he can. Tribute was already taken. It was the second one, by the way, so the next tribute is going to spawn up at the top lane. That's of course, there are a couple of rules for the tributes. And the next one is... Actually, like in this case, as this was only the second tribute of the game, there could still be a bot lane spawn. Because the second tribute that spawns in the matches apparently doesn't follow the rules that normally apply to the tribute. So we could still see a bot lane tribute, at least for this particular round. So yeah, JPL and Breeze currently doing their thing in the mid lane, pushing this out, but thanks to Promote and also Abathur, this has already been completely pushed in with the exception of that one tower. Abathur by now moving up to the top lane, just saying like, alright, I'm gonna help out there as well. We have out in the bottom, Fred starting to utilize Night Take Spawn to push these lanes in, and this is one of the things that Fnatic is currently doing quite well. Pushing the lanes in and really creating some pressure against Navi. Navi is a bit behind in experience, nothing too serious. Nothing where you just say, alright, okay, we're gonna be at a significant disadvantage. But they will get level 10 a bit later. Abathur actually taken out. Look at that. Abathur, the slug was killed. The space slug is dead. Zeratul with a hate here. And that's of course one of the things that you can really do as moving in, as Zeratul trying to move in and take down the slug. The slug needs to come back pretty soon because that tribute would curse Fnatic, and that's of course the one thing that they really have to make sure is not going to happen. Level 10 is going to help them. But Navi is going to hit that next level in just a few seconds as well, and Shrimpy at the bot lane is going to try to make that work for them. But over here, maybe with an early kill, that might be all that they need. They're already trying to zone. There they are, the 10s also for the opponents. Monstrosity, by the way, has been used for Abathur. Pushing build for him now with that talent, but the kill against Kel'Thas early on in the fight puts Fnatic in a very advantageous position. Kel'Thas gets the Phoenix off, but that's about it. Here comes a good Void Prison. The kill against Jaina, maybe an opportunity. We have once more Lowell though on his Archon, moving in with that. Freds can help out. Freds actually using the symbiote. Sorry, not symbiote, but Abathur using the symbiote to not help Freds, but Lowell on his Tassadar, moving in against Eternal now. Again, it's still a 5 versus 4, since we already have one hero coming back to business, and that's of course Kel'Thas, but Jaina is also back in the game, and is starting to make their way over. The bot lane is being pushed thanks to the Monstrosity, but they still need to make sure that this tribute is not being caught by Navi, but I don't think they can prevent that. It doesn't really look likely. We have Freds moving in for a second, just trying to at least interrupt it once more, but Tacita is down, and I guess that puts an end to the ambition of Fnatic. There is the curse against them. Navi is in a great position once more, unstoppable. The trade on Johanna used to make sure that Freds gets away, but the stun from Anubarak might be... No, it's not going to be the downfall of any of these heroes. Ace helping out Johanna as much as he can. Very well played there. Bot lane. Let's look what Abathur could be has been doing during the entire time. He started to push in that wall and he got the gate, but not much more than that. Malfurion at the top lane needs to be careful. Oh, actually, Malfurion dying here. Wasn't apparently as careful as he should have been. Abathur also dead. Wow. So Abathur is dead. We have the kill against Malfurion. Navi is ahead in experience. Navi is all of a sudden in the lead, and they have that curse still ready. Schwimpy bribing the camp of their opponents away, so by now we also have 2 siege giants going straight for the wall at the keep. Navi once again just showing their skills here, aren't they? Fnatic, they are only a bit behind, and that curse is only going to last for another 5 seconds, but of course at this point they need to be very careful. That 13 talent is going to be very difficult to deal with. We're going to see very strong talents coming in for Navi here, and in this case actually we have already the Locust Swarm, which is especially giving Anubarak a huge boost in his damage. There's a reason why he oftentimes is one of the best damage dealers in the game, or at least very high up there, and that is Locust Swarm, which is also going to be nerfed in the next patch slightly by Blizzard. Here comes Burning Rage to increase those numbers even more. Flamethrower is going to put Kel'Thas in a position where he can really use that flame strike from a safe distance and increase by 50%. Hell yeah, I'm going to take that. Already using it to take down the mule here, so that at least for now Malfurion can't do anything about that. Up to the top lane, we saw, Johanna actually portal back. Very smart decision, since Spree, Splendor and Eternal were already trying to go for a kill. We have now also Shrink Ray being used. We have Phase Shield, and Shrink Ray is a great talent. I mean, think about what's going to happen in these fights, especially with the Monstrosity taken. There's only 4 bodies that you have to deal with. Abathur, of course, with the Symbiote hat is definitely going to be annoying, but it's only 4 bodies that you have to deal with. So that Shrink Ray is going to become extremely valuable. Over here, Abathur helping out Freds, and look at how annoying Johanna is in this case. 4 heroes moving in. It's a 4 versus 4 if you count Abathur here, and Breeze moving back. The 13 talents are ready. Prescience taken. We're seeing so much transference, keeping Johanna just alive and alive. JPL goes down. Nice kill. And the rest of the team is super low as well. Once again, we have that water elemental just going ham on the heroes, but it's Brightwing that dies first, and all of a sudden, Fnatic is back to business. They are nearly the same experience as their opponents, and this is a very, very annoying situation for their opponents right now. Symbiotes, like so much transference with the Symbiote Spike Burst healing is just amazing. It's really, really great. It's a cool talent to have, and it just keeps the hero alive even more. And in this case, of course, if you already have like a tanky monster like Johanna in your lineup, then this is just pure gold. Down to the bot lane, Monstrosity with a pushing power, and Kasil is moving back. He was already smelling his opponent moving in there. That Monstrosity is immediately being attacked by Breeze. The thing with the Monstrosity is that, of course, over time, when it kills more minions, it gains damage and also like hit points, so it's extremely annoying. If you just leave it unhindered, it can really be like brutal. So yeah, oftentimes like late game monstrosities, or like monstrosities that have been in the game for a bit longer, underestimated by players. They move in, don't really have a high hit point pool, are starting to try and take it down, and then are very surprised when they're suddenly getting killed by that thing. Nice stun against Anubarak, I like it. Cool stun by Freds here. Can move in with Johanna, makes sure that the tribute channel was not interrupted, but he might die for it. I like the stun, I just don't know if it was really worth it, you know? I mean, that is another kill against Fnatic, and once more, Navi is taking the lead. I'm loving this. I mean, this game is pretty cool. This is a worthy third game between the two teams here. And very, very fun. Level 16 is going to hit soon for Navi. Actually, it's going to hit with this fort healing limit, isn't it? Like Abathur, just delaying that for a bit more, but still. Look at Abathur's damage, by the way. 16,000, so pretty solid. 61,000 siege damage. And Nubarak with 24,000 is has the highest damage against heroes in the game. Once again, Locust Swarm really making it happen. And now the 16 talent, of course, with Ignite, double bombs. Who would have thought? Duh. Criterize taken, as well as Blood for Blood. And I mean, one level, what are we going to see right now? For Uther, usually it's Benediction that you see on level 16. There's a couple of options, of course, that you have, but let's find out what he's going to go for. Yeah, we have the tribute spawning. This is would be the second tribute for Fnatic. Water Elemental, pretty good Void Prison, yeah, but they need to follow that up with a decent stun on Breeze. The problem is that Brightwing is still at the top, so they don't get Brightwing in just yet. Apparently he's not in cooldown yet. He's now making his way over, so they didn't get the opportunity to set up a proper fight with Void Prison. Johanna is moving in once again into the fight here at the front line. Breeze is also going pretty deep, needs to be careful. And, well, Ace, Tacita is already dead, and Ace dying as well. They're trying to go for... Oh my god, they get the kill out there. Yes, there it is. 3 kills for Na'Vi. Great position for them to be in once again. Malfurion also not picking his 16 talent just yet. They're having them now with the Invented Spines. There's the Dimensional Warp at the top lane. They're having Kesil still doing some work, soaking experience with his body, moving out on the lane with his Abathur. If you play Abathur, it's just so important to note that you only soak experience with a Symbiote Hat and with your body. Of course, as with all other heroes, another rule applies. If you kill any minion on the map, no matter where you are with one of your abilities, then you still get the experience for that particular minion, but no more than that. Abathur just barely getting away from Eternal, who was already waiting for an opportunity to take Abathur down again. We have now Hardened Focused and Benediction taken from Malfurion and Uther. Both of these guys have been waiting pretty long to pick their talents, but now they finally have. A level lead for Na'Vi right now. They are a level ahead again. 18 against soon-to-be 17 for their opponents. And that setup that we are seeing for Fnatic is really extremely annoying to deal with, but it's not really working out in those team fights for them just yet. So I'm really curious to see if they are able to make a bit of a comeback here, because Na'Vi is of course going to try and play that exact same style that we saw them showcase several times already, trying to dominate the objectives on the map and just get into the late game to hit 20. They're going for a gutsy boss call here, by the way, and that might backfire. Eternal actually going down. Wow. And with that happening, this boss is going to be stolen. Yeah. This boss, they make sure that it's not getting healed up to full health again. They're just moving in. It's a 5 versus 4 situation. I mean, Na'Vi can try and contest this, but I highly doubt that they will. They are down 1 hero, and they cannot really do anything about that. So that is extremely annoying. Boss at the bot lane, on the other hand, that's the one who's currently starting to do damage against the keep. So Fnatic had to really make a choice here. Do we defend the bot lane against the first boss that they take, or do we contest the top? And they decided to go for top. They contested, they took down Zeratul, and then they moved in and made sure that they got the boss themselves. There could be, in just a second, a mule. He needs to shield it. There needs to be a mule, but Shrimpy is there. Shrimpy is going for the kill, and he gets the keep. Well done by Brightwing. JPL was there as well, making sure that he could add some additional DPS if needed. But yeah, over here, we're already having the boss moving in. And this is, of course, where Fnatic is trying to make a bit of a stand. Level 19 versus level 18. Fnatic is going for it right now. 10 kills against 6 in favor of Na'Vi. Eternal jumping in, wormholing back, trying to do that over and over again for the quick poke. Even Abathur is helping out now with this monstrosity. Brightwing in the bot lane is applying pressure to the structures, not jumping in just yet. Here's the tribute. It would be tribute number 2 for Fnatic, and it looks like they're going to get it. But level 20 is very close for Na'Vi. Brightwing is still Brightwing is soaking XP at the bot lane. Can he get level 20? There's the tribute. 2 for 2. They have to fight over the next one. Fnatic could actually get level 20 before the next fight happens. That could work out for them. They're 1.5 levels away. If they start to maybe take down another structure, if they get a kill somehow, there's the 20 for Na'Vi. Na'Vi is on 20. This is dangerous. Fnatic. Oh, over here. Lowell moving back, getting double bombed. Eternal jumps in, tries to get the kill. Void Prism already being used. Fnatic is fighting without the 20 talent. Fnatic is fighting without it. They have to. And here comes the monstrosity. Mania immediately going for his Iceblock, moving back once again. Breeze, of course, with the Locust Swarm. Eternal is already moving in with another double bombs. Gets it up against Mania, and Freds is solo, but he barely escapes through the gate. Gets away there, just barely hopping away. And oh my god, this could have backfired so fast. Really well done here, though, on the side of Fnatic with that disengage. That was pretty close. but here is the tribute, and that's a 20 versus 19. It could be the second curse against Fnatic. This should be the second curse against Fnatic. Wow. I mean, Ace of Spades, Mena, they think about it. This is like one of these things where you just like sit on the map and you're like, guys, we need to contest it, but we can't. And they decide not to, and it's a good choice. Right now, NaVi is gaining that momentum that they need. They already killed one keep, and they're trying to get another one. They're moving in once again into the mid lane. Here comes the Flame Strike with Ignite already, dishing out additional damage against Freds. First tower down, blinded up at the front. All that poke from JPL coming now, of course, into play. Just trying to keep Fnatic at a distance. And the farther they can push them back, the easier it is for them to drop the keep. And of course, those towers don't even attack. Breeze and the rest of his team are moving in right now. They want to go for keep number 2. Top lane is still pushing in as well. Here comes the Phoenix, going straight for that. And of course the Blizzards, Jaina trying to keep him at bay for as long as possible, but this is nearly impossible right now. And there it is. Keep taken down. NaVi has to retreat right now. They cannot really push in against the core just yet, but they are in an incredible good position. They're moving in up at the top lane, and NaVi, oh my god, these boys are making plays. The 20 talent, by the way, not taken yet on Uther, could go for redemption. Probably why he's waiting for it. If you go for the quick cast, or like if you choose your talents with a quick cast there, then you can do that in the middle of the fight, and that's probably what he's currently waiting for. Seeing the control up at the top lane now, the defense, it's the last lane that Fnatic has when no catapults for the opponent spawn, and they have level 20. There is evolution complete. Interesting to see that, allowing the monstrosity to tunnel. It's actually, monstrosities these days are a little bit like Tamagotchis. When they first came into play, it normally just died and nobody cared about it. If you look at ADRD's playing, and this game also Fnatic's, then oftentimes these monstrosities are something that the Abathur players are trying to keep alive for as long as possible. And with the deep tunnel, you can just hop between lanes and make sure that you push them out. So interesting talent choice. Twilight Archon on level 20 as well for Tacita is going to put a lot of additional damage onto the board for Fnatic, which is really important for them. And we have more sustainability with Invincible on Johanna, and also we see of course the Storm Shield. So Abathur's mini Tamagotchi is still at the bot lane, could tunnel up to the top and start to push this one out as well. The one lane where they might not have to go for right now. We see the boss being attacked again, or that's at least what they're going to try and go for. Having a bit of a look at the damage, by the way, 37,000 on Anubarak. Leading in damage still. Look at that siege damage for Kel'Thas. 130,000 already. Really high up there. And once again, we are straight in the fight. It's the boss call. And 20 versus 20? I mean, NaVi did a great job taking down these keeps. Don't get me wrong, but they need to be careful right now. They cannot just simply go for boss. It's the same talents. This is like the same talents. The advantage that they had earlier in those fights is gone. In the fights, it's the same thing. Like, doesn't really matter anymore. That one level lead that they have gives them a bit of a stat advantage. That's not going to be enough to carry them through a fight. So they need to be super careful. They need to wait for a proper setup. They cannot fight the boss and at the same time contest Fnatic. That's just not going to happen. Nice dodge of Ace against the first double bomb, but there's of course still the poke going. Here comes the monstrosity again, was already pushing the bot lane, and we have in the mid lane now 2 waves coming in and also the catapults. Here's the tribute. There would be the curse against NaVi. If Fnatic contests the boss and wins this is a chance for them. This is an opportunity. If they can get boss and also curse, they could turn this around. They need to take some structures down. Here's the boss, very, very low. Do they keep it aggroed? Yes, they do. Lowell keeps it, attacks it again, making sure that it's not gaining hit points once again, and there it is. Already leashed. So once here up at the top, the fight for the tribute just continues. Abathur is all the way in the back, still taking care of his monstrosities. Already down to the bottom of the map, trying to take down that fort. We have at the same time, though, everybody else poking up here at the top, going for the tribute. Once again, Breeze. Here comes the flamethrower again. Oh, that flame strike with all that damage against Freds, but of course he still can get that heal. He has good hit point regeneration as well. Freds is just waiting there, and NaVi is trying to go for the tribute. Fnatic hasn't. They don't have to take it, and maybe they shouldn't. But if they do, then they would put the curse on their opponents. Down here already Ice Bomb being used at the same time. Everybody's jumping in at the fight up at the top lane where the Phoenix is suddenly being dropped, and we also see the monstrosity of Abathur making an appearance. Zeratul going down. The Void Prism is a bit too late. Zeratul is dead. It's a 5 versus 4 in favor of Fnatic. Fnatic behind the entire game basically. Suddenly has a bit of a lead in this fight. Ace of Spades with a heal thanks to Tranquility. They're chasing NaVi away. They're going straight for the tribute. This is going to be curse. This is going to be the curse against NaVi. NaVi have to wait 40 seconds to have Zeratul back in the game, and Fnatic, they just simply move for the boss. They go in at the bot lane and say, alright, this is mine. We're going to get this right now, and then we can try to carry that momentum and equalize the score here. what can they do in terms of damage? There's a fort at the bot lane that they have to go through. They still have the monstrosity. It's actually being burrowed back 4 hit points right now. To make sure the monstrosity, by the way, at this point has 5,200 hit points and 400 attack damage. This monstrosity is a beast. That's exactly what I've been talking about. It's basically a mini Tamagotchi. You take care of it, you get rewarded later on. And that level 20 talent with the burrow is great. And that's exactly what's currently being used. Abathur is trying to put that in to make just sure that all those lanes are being pushed back. They lost 2 keep already. They have to do something. And this is it. Right now we're seeing Fnatic up at the top lane, going for boss number 2. We're having the rest of the setup for Na'Vi, defending the boss at the bot, of course. And the situation right now is that these bosses are also scaling over time in damage and hit points. And therefore, these boys are pretty difficult to deal with right now. The longer this game goes, the stronger they're going to get. And then you are really going to struggle against them. Up at the top lane, against the move by Fnatic, they are smelling blood in the water, but it's a 5 versus 5 again with Zeratul back to business. Monstrosity moving in the mid lane, they're dropping another fort, experience, they're closing in, they take the siege giant camp here away from their opponents, stealing them away, making sure that there's no pressure that Na'Vi can build up against them, and this boss is going to go for the first keep. It might be the first keep that Fnatic takes down here, it will be, it's so low already. Here comes the Phoenix. Na'Vi, are they trying to fight for this? Lowell is getting lower in HP and needs to be careful. There's the root, oh, against Uther, the root against, oh, but he gets away, wow. That could have been the setup here. Johanna moving in. There's the monstrosity again, burrowing into the backline. They're moving straight in. The monstrosity is moving straight for it. The Void Prism isolating a few of the heroes, but at the same time we have Tessada once again going low, and we have them just going straight for the core. They just core in. The boss is there. Fnatic goes for the core. The monstrosity together with the boss. They take it. They turn the game around. The comeback is real. Fnatic wins against Na'Vi with a 2-1 at the Dreamhack Valencia Qualifier. Wow, oh my god.
What a finish! Fnatic takes the game, they just go for core in the end. And guys, I couldn't stop laughing when I actually saw that monstrosity bro right out of the ground next to Khaldor, and I just can't imagine him standing there, JPL trying to go for the perfect flame strike, hitting the back line of Fnatic, and then it seemed like what the fuck is that? As the monstrosity spurs up right next to him. I mean, that must have been like, what the hell is going on? And it was really that mini Tamagotchi that we saw for Abathur that was doing a lot of work then in the last scene, in the last fights as well. At that point, you have so many hit points in it, and then also the damage from the monstrosity alone, but that Abathur head is just adding to that. And the backline is usually quite squishy, and Khaldor, of course, is one of the squishiest heroes that we currently have in the game, so he wasn't really too happy when suddenly that monstrosity appeared right next to him. But that setup in general, I mean, from the early game, Na'Vi establishing a bit of a lead there and really getting ahead in the game, taking down 2 of the keeps, but Fnatic just keeping the defenses up, making sure that they were not going down, and then once they hit 20, they were able to take these team fights and suddenly turn around. Great game to finish the series off. Super entertaining, and I personally feel we couldn't have hoped for a better game for our third map here. I hope that you enjoyed the broadcast and also the game itself, of course. If you did, you know the drill, give the video a thumbs up on YouTube. If you have any questions, feel free to post a comment in the comment section. And guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, it would be amazing if you could do that. Also, if you have friends who are not really into the esports scene of Heroes of the Storm just yet, just give them a link and let them have a look, because currently Heroes of the Storm is really taking off, especially when it comes to esports. Super enjoyable, and if you are involved early on in that, it's actually super fun. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in today. It was a pleasure casting for you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm going to see you next time with more Heroes of the Storm on Color TV. Bye bye.